I think we did it. Hello, everybody. I'm so sorry about that. The good news is, well, let me give you the bad news first. The bad news is, I've been sitting here talking now for 5 minutes. The good news is, all I had to do was click a button to go live. So OBS has a start streaming button, and then next to it, it has another button called go live. And well, I'm a technical person for a living, folks, but apparently clicking a button is too difficult for me. So we figured we figured it out. Hello, everybody. Thanks for jumping in. We're dispensing with all of the pleasantries today. I'm going to start my speech over now that it's well rehearsed. And I'll give you some info. First of all, we already kind of gave away the big announcement, which is we're sort of launching our traffic injection and sequencing today, depending on your definition of launch. So we'll talk more about that here in just a second. Um, but we've got all kinds of things I want to cover as it relates to traffic injection and sequencing. Now, the most important thing for you to know is that we've been looking forward to this day now since long before we even launched the product. So probably 2 years now. We've been looking forward to the day when we would be able to bring this to everybody, and that day is today when all of our subscribers are going to get a chance to see it and play with it and use it. Um, we actually first made it available for preview about 2.5 months ago at FS Weekend. We announced the alpha release and we made it available to our partner customers to take a look at. We've made a ton of progress since then. We still have a ton of work to do, which we're going to talk more about, but we're ready to go to the next level. Now, in software development, I want to be clear, there's actually three phases of release typically. You have your full release, you have your beta release, and then prior to that, you have your alpha release. So it starts with alpha, then it goes to beta, then it goes to a full release. Let's talk about what each of those means. This is really important. A full release essentially says, hey, that comes at the end, right? You basically say, we think it's done. We're here, we are, we're delivering on all of our promises. All it's feature complete. There are very few bugs in it, and it's ready for everybody to start using. That is not what we have today. We have today what's typically referred to as a beta release. And a beta release essentially means it's feature complete, meaning we've added all the stuff that it's supposed to be able to do, but we are very aware that it's full of bugs. It has problems, right? We're aware that it might not work sometimes. We're aware that there's issues, and just to put this into perspective, right now we've got probably a little over 100 known issues as it relates to traffic injection and sequencing right now. Most of those are edge case scenarios that most people will never hit, but there's a few of them that are, bugs. They're definitely bugs. So we have a lot of known bugs in the traffic injection and sequencing right now. What we're hoping is that you'll be patient. You'll understand that if you decide to use it, you're joining a beta program, that it has some issues, and that you'll give us feedback, and that we'll continue to work on those, and that maybe in a couple more months, we'll remove the beta tag from it, and we'll say, hey, it's ready to go. By the way, when we initially launched our ATC product, it took us about a year before we stopped calling it a beta and said, "Hey, it's ready to go." Now, it still has bugs, it still has problems. We're still working on those, but in general, it took us about a year before we got from our beta release to saying it's relatively stable now, and we think most people are going to enjoy it. But keep in mind, we've always used a very interesting mechanism to decide when it's time to release something. When do we take it from alpha stage? Let me back up a little bit. The release development model for SayIntentions is that we always start with a preview alpha build to our partners. If you're a partner customer, by the way, anybody can become a partner customer. But if you're a partner customer, we allow you to get an early look at the stuff that we're working on, and we call that a preview build or an alpha build of those features. You get to play with it before everybody else. It alpha means it's not feature complete. It means it's not done. It means we haven't stopped adding new stuff to it because we're trying to get it to where it ought to go. And we give that to our partner customers, and then we leave it with our partner customers for usually a couple months, and then we move it to beta, which is what's happening today. We're moving it from alpha to beta. That's today. And you go, well, how do you know when it's time to move it from alpha to beta? Well, there's two things that have to happen in order for us to move a product from alpha to beta. The first thing that has to happen is it has to be feature complete, meaning we have to have come in and said, okay, we've now built everything that it's going to be, and all the features are there. Still full of bugs, lots of bugs, but it's now ready to go into beta. The second thing that has to happen, and this is really, really important, is we ask we ask a question of those who are using the feature, and it's worded very carefully, but we basically say, is your flight sim experience better with the feature turned on, or is your flight sim experience better with the feature turned off? In other words, are we making your immersion worse? Are we taking your flight sim experience with the feature on and bringing it down a notch? If we are, if your experience is worse if the feature is on, then it is not ready, right? We're not ready to move it from alpha to beta. But if you say, no, I recognize that it has some problems. I recognize that there's some challenges with it. I recognize that it's far from perfect, but I would rather have it on than off. If that's happening, then we know it's ready. We know it's ready to go to beta, right? So we asked that question of our partners here. I don't know if it was 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. Um, and we said, what do you think with this traffic injection and sequencing system? Is your flight sim experience better with it on? And we're very proud of the fact that 96% of our partners said that it's better with it on. 96%, and we said, okay, we're ready to go. So we pulled the team aside, Tom and Ryan and Roland, and myself even, and said, you know, the partners say it's way better with it on, so let's go. And they said, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. We've got FS Expo coming up. We've got, still a laundry list of things that they really wanted to get done before we released to everybody. So I said, okay, you get, 2 or 3 weeks, and that's it. And so we picked July 7th. We picked today as the launch day, and everybody kind of agreed on that. And here we are. And I do want to say a huge congratulations to the SayIntentions engineering team and support team that's been working on this for a very, very, very long time. Roland Foster, Tom, Ryan, all have worked tirelessly on this for again a very, very long time. And congratulations to that team on today. This is a huge milestone for us. This is the biggest milestone. As you know, from here, it'll just sort of incrementally get better until eventually we pick a day and remove the beta tag. So, congratulations to that team. We've done a number of really interesting things to make the traffic injection and sequencing interesting and unique and really set us apart from the other injectors that are out there. There's a lot of really nice injectors out there, and I will tell you that after this project and the exposure that I've had to it, I have a tremendous amount of respect for other developers who have built traffic injectors. Again, there's a bunch of them out there. This is an enormously difficult project. Microsoft Flight Simulator does not make this easy. We are required to manage all kinds of things related to the experience that I did not expect would be our job. Managing wheel rotations and the way that the plane looks as it's making a turn and things like that. I thought we would just be able to say to the flight simulator, hey, can you take the plane and move it from there to there? And it would. And it turns out it is way harder than that. Again, I just want to reiterate, I have a tremendous amount of respect for everybody who has built these injectors and has to make these planes look good as they're moving around. This is a wildly difficult project. So very excited about what the team has accomplished here. We've done some things that I think are very unique. The most important design aspect of what we've done is we said, look, we say intentions fundamentally and philosophically is a cloud-based product. That's why we have to charge a subscription fee. And we've said we want to take as much as possible in terms of the calculations and the traffic management and managing the individual airplanes and move that off of the PC and into the cloud. so that your PC is freed up for running your flight simulator. In other words, we wanted to try to give you as much of a performance advantage as we could so that your FPS was minimally impacted. uh, at the end of the day, every 3D object that Microsoft Flight Simulator injects and animates is still going to have a performance hit. But we wanted to get as much as possible off of your PC and into the cloud. We've done, I think, a pretty good job with that. The reports from our partners are that the FPS impact is minimal. Um, and there's some things that you could do to improve that even further. For example, make sure you're putting in antivirus exclusions on your Microsoft Flight Simulator folders. Those kinds of tricks are going to help a lot. But we're getting good results. So very happy about that. Give it a try. You'll see it yourself. In fact, I heard some people say, "Oh, I'm so excited to see what Brian is going to show us today." I'm not going to show you anything today because as of now, if you're a Say Intentions subscriber, you can go see it for yourself. Um, that is where we've been wanting to get enough talk. Go see it. Go play with it yourself. Um, Model matching is doing some very interesting things. I'll spare you the details, but model matching in the flight sim world is extraordinarily difficult because there is no standard for how models are labeled and organized and categorized. So we've had to do some very interesting things with AI to do the model matching. We're using real world gates and schedules. That There's a whole long story. You can read it in the FAQ about why we're not using ADS-B data. I can give you the Reader's Digest version of that, but effectively, what it comes down to with ADS-B data is that, well, let me pull up my list here. It's in the FAQ. I should be letting you guys read it, but the real world data is already very tightly sequenced. So if you're flying into Atlanta at a very busy time of day and we're just putting airplanes in where they are in the real world, there's no room for you. We can't sequence you in there because of the traffic is full. The second is that if we're just using ADS-B data, then we've got a bunch of airplanes in the sky that are under the control of some other air traffic controllers. And so we don't know what that plane is about to do. And because we have our own ATC, it's very important that we be able to control that traffic. So that was very important to us. Also, we wanted to be able to allow people to change the date and time in their simulator. And again, for that reason, you can't use real world ADS-B data because data that will only work if you're set to real time. So we wanted you to be able to change the weather. We wanted you to be able to change the sim time, all kinds of things that we wanted you to be able to do. And so instead, we just decided to load real world flight schedules. Very excited about that. It's actually turned out really, really nice. And the real world flight schedules remain under the control of our ATC so that you can still use custom time, custom weather. We can change the runways around as we need to. All of that stuff are things that you can do. And yes, Andrew in the chat room who says the way Brian explains wheel steering rotation for AI traffic likely explains why GFX vehicles steer so janky. I don't know what GFX is, so I apologize there. But yes, there's a lot of magic that we have to do to make these things look smooth and make them, make it feel fluid and flow properly. Even just the act of taking a plane from the air and putting it onto a runway is shockingly difficult in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It has two modes, ground and air, and taking an injected object and moving it between those two modes is very jarring visually. The sim doesn't handle that well. So yeah, the amount of extra work we've had to do in order to make this thing like create a believable experience is shocking. And again, I want to reiterate, I have a tremendous amount of respect for people who've created these other injectors. They're extremely difficult to do. So I'm very excited about the direction that we've taken with all of this. Um, we've tried really hard to make sure that the voices are fluid and that they sound good and they sound natural and that they sound like real pilots talking to real controllers, including giving a British accent to a British Airways pilot. Those kinds of things are all in there. The All of this means, by the way, that the fact that we run this in the cloud, the fact that we're attaching these ultra premium AI voices to this stuff means that adding traffic has been incredibly expensive for us. It now we had sort of been relying on getting some price drops in voices and getting some price drops in AI and some price drops in cloud computing. And honestly, we got a lot of that during our first year, but we haven't seen much of that in the last 6 months that's made it to market. So we're kind of holding out hope that that's coming. We'll be analyzing the usage data over the course of the next, 7, 10 days and just making sure that we've got a handle on our price. We don't want to increase our price for this. That was never one of the goals, but we're now sort of looking at it like, gee, maybe that's something we'll have to do. If we do, it won't be much. A dollar or two would be, what we're looking at. But also, I'm willing to make you guys a promise, which is that if we will not be raising the price on our existing subscribers. So if you're already a Say Intention subscriber, you're already a customer. If we have to increase the price by a dollar or two, you would be included. You would be grandfathered into the old price forever. So we will not be raising the price on our existing customers. So you're welcome. Um, but we are analyzing the usage carefully just to see is this actually going to work or not? Because the cost to operate this is a lot. Like I said, between the voices, the cloud compute, the additional AI, all of this stuff, it has been intense even in the testing phases to see what it's sort of done to our cost structure. So, um, but again, we'll do the right thing for our existing customers. If we have to raise the price, you will not have your price go up as a result of this. So we will keep that promise to you, and that's really, really important to me that we take care of our existing customers. Um, Works with MSFS 2020 and 2024, and we get this question a lot. This last one, yes, GA traffic is coming soon. We know how to do GA-IFR. We know how to do GA-VFR. We'll be releasing those in that order. But yes, those are coming. And as the beta progresses, you will see GA traffic start to get injected. So very, very, very excited about that. Um, what else can I answer for you? There are 10,000 questions. The biggest thing that I want to make sure is now understood is that if you are a Say Intentions premium subscriber, all you have to do is open up the app, go to the brand new traffic tab that you'll see there, and grab the little slider and move it up. It goes from 0, which means no traffic injection at all the way up to 11, which means, normally go 0 to 10. We decided that we would let you take it one step further, push it all the way to 11. By the way, if you have a decent sim rig, you're probably going to find that 11 works just fine. Right now, the biggest reported issue that we're getting is people say, gee, there's just not enough radio comms going on for the amount of traffic that I'm seeing. We're aware of it. We're working on it. Keep reporting those issues to us just so that we've got a good feel of when that's resolved. But hang in there. We're working on that, and we'll get that normalized, and everything will be good. I promise. One of the tricks we're going to have to do for the en route traffic, and I'm actually pretty excited about this, is this idea of one of the reasons people are not hearing a lot of en route radio communications is that when planes are flying at 35,000 feet and they're just cruising, there's really very little reason for them to use the radio other than handoffs. And handoffs don't occur that often. So we'll be doing some tricks where we'll come up with reasons for pilots to be sort of chattering with ATC that don't just involve handoffs, PIREPs and things like that. Stuff we can already do. We'll make sure that we extend the AI model to take it a little bit further. Question about X-Plane. We do plan to bring this to X-Plane, so hang in there. I love this question. How come I'm an X-Plane customer and I have to pay the same subscription fee as the other Microsoft Flight Simulator customers? And the answer is because you have the same subscription that they do. You can use X-Plane and you can use Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's part of your subscription. We do not have an X-Plane only subscription. So if you're paying for our stuff, you're allowed to use it on all of the simulators that we support. And I'm very proud of that. We don't plan on changing that. So you get the same service that everybody else does. That's the answer. And by the way, we do plan on bringing traffic injection to X-Plane. It's on the list. So Um, this is not it's never coming kind of thing. So I'm very excited about that. Have runway incursions been fixed yet? Yeah, we've made a lot of progress on runway incursions. I won't say that they've been like that everything is 100% perfect, but we've made a lot of progress. Let me read some more of the questions here, just make sure I catch them all. So it says, if you have a mid-range PC, set it around 7. Yeah, that's probably about right for a mid-range PC. Lots of excitement about GA. Me too. I'm really excited about bringing GA in there. Um, will they sit and camp on the runway? I don't think so. They shouldn't do that. No, our injector does. You shouldn't have an issue like that. I think you'll find that it works pretty good. Is it possible to make ATC of a country hearing them chatting in French, even though their settings in English? Maybe for the GA VFR stuff. Yeah, we may be able to do that. It would be very cool. We already support, lots and lots of different languages for you to communicate with ATC. Um, yeah, that's actually a good idea for that. P3D traffic injection is probably never coming. It's just not capable of what we're doing here. Too old, too outdated. It just can't do it. So probably none of this will be coming to P3D, unfortunately. Parked aircraft slider. Yeah, we may be able to give you some more fine-tuned control over the parked aircraft versus moving aircraft. Right now, it's all sort of baked into that one slider, but that's something we can take a look at. Um, Heli traffic. Yeah, maybe. That's hey, that's a question from Murph. Hey, Murph. Heli traffic would be very cool. It's not on my list right now, but I would like to experiment with it before giving you a definitive answer one way or another about how soon that's coming. It's something we have not tried. So hang in there. I would like to experiment with it. It would be very interesting. Um, Traffic instructions instead of just taxi to runway, get your discretion. Yeah, they do get taxi instructions actually. They get the same. We use the same taxi algorithm for the traffic that you're using, that ATC uses for you. So if you're hearing traffic being told to taxi at their discretion, that's a bug, and it'll be fixed. Yeah. Um, so I hope. Oh yeah, there we go. So we get someone says you guys did a great job. Thank you, Alpha Oscar Zulu 67. You guys did a great job with setting 11 no performance hits. Yeah, we're hearing that. I'm not going to make that promise to anybody, but we are hearing from a number of people that they're able to crank it all the way up, and they're seeing minimal FPS hit. Other injectors work with it. No, that's not true. Stacy Clark. No, you'll want to turn off all the other injectors. We can't and don't control traffic that is injected by someone other than us. So you want to turn off all the other injectors. You can still use their models, so if you want to use the FSLTL models, you can do that. If you want to use the AIG models, you can do that. But the injector itself, you'll want to run ours. I probably could sit here and answer questions for hours, I can see. There's a million questions flowing in. Do me a favor, jump into our Discord and we'll steer you to the right place. And we're happy to answer all of these questions. My best advice to you is get in there and try it. It's awesome. Oh, there's a question here I can answer. Are real life schedules based on day of the week or just time? They're based on day of the week. So Monday morning in Atlanta is going to be super busy, but while Sunday morning maybe not as much. So yeah, it is based on yeah, day of the week, and we've really tried to model it so the airport feels correct for the date and time. Um, I am gonna stop there. There's a zillion questions that I want to answer all of them, but we would go for hours and hours, and I really wanted to try to keep this in the 30-minute mark. Give it a try. And please remember it's beta. Please remember that we need your feedback. Please remember that we're still fixing zillions of bugs. Um, but it's time to let everybody have it. The only other thing that I would ask is that if you get in there and you're like, "Wow, this is terrible," just turn it off. Like go back to where you were an hour ago, and keep using our stuff. It's okay. Just turn it off for now. Check back tomorrow. Check back the next day. But if it's not up to your standards, don't let it ruin your flight sim experience just yet. Um, just shut it off and check back in a week. You go back to what life was like yesterday, and you'll be okay. But I promise, the team is working very hard on this. We've got a lot of engineers that are spending a lot of time on this, and we are releasing updates. if not daily, sometimes multiple times a day on this. So we're following our usual model where we're watching, we're iterating, we're responding, and that's happening, constantly. So thank you for everything, everybody. We really appreciate all of you guys. We appreciate all of the feedback that we got. A huge shout out to our partner team who did all of the alpha testing. Their feedback was invaluable in getting us to the point that we're at now. And really, very tremendously grateful to all of you, and a huge amount of thanks to those who are willing to be beta testers for us as we move through this next phase. Thank you, and happy traffic, everybody.